The Bank of Nigeria to raise the value of the naira against the dollar continues. Now, the CBN has again announced the sale of dollars to the Bureau de Change operators, and in a circular uploaded to its website, the Apex Bank said it is set to sell $10,000 to each BDCs at 101 naira to a dollar. And the CBN directed the operators to sell at a spread not more than 1.5% above the bank's rate. And this recent move followed an appeal by the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria to the CBN to adjust and lower its applicable exchange rate below the 1,251 naira to a dollar it pegged for its members. GKB, well, first, let's get your perspective on this announcement by the CBN, regarding the sales of dollars. How do you see this affecting the Forex market? Do you see this as a positive development? Although some would say it is positive, but what's your perspective first off? Let's get your hang of that. Yes.
Well, for the first time, or rather, since the floating of the naira, there seems to be somebody in control of our foreign exchange intervention regime. Because for a little while, especially for some of us who are not in Nigeria at that point in time, it was always crazy when you wake up in the morning and somebody will tell you that this morning naira is 1,500.
Right.
And then before you go to bed, it's 1,900. And the volatility was very bad. But right now, one can say that the new sheriff in town, that's the Cardoso, the Governor Cardoso, has shown the fact that he's willing to tinker with the resources available in such a manner that the naira will not totally go under. The projection, according to some insiders, is that we are looking at 700 naira before December. The way it's going, all things being equal, I think we'll get there faster. Maybe not 700, but around 900, 800 reach. Maybe by the time it comes around for school fees,
right,
to be paid by parents with children abroad, and those who insist, instead of going to Ogutukatu Ranch, or going to Okiti, or going to Kaba, you'd rather go to London for 2 weeks to rest. Once this is done, I expect him to now follow this up with things that people who cannot access the dollars.
Right.
That to me is fundamental. We still import a lot of irrelevant things that add no value, apart from our taste buds. And that we need to work on. I'm sure he's going to deal with that next, once the naira stabilizes.
Right.
To me, this is a very good thing, because he listens. They said, look, the pegging you gave us is no longer operative. They said, okay, we'll lower it. I'm sure if tomorrow they realize this too is not sustainable, they need to rise it or lower it. That will be done. That, to me, is control. When you listen and you get feedback. When people don't get feedback, you keep insisting on running a particular regime, then you run into trouble.
Yeah, talking about lowering, BK, we also know that the APCON, is asking for adjustments in the exchange rate. But let's have your thoughts on this and the likely implications this might have for our economy. What do you mean?
And that's the adjustment they asked for is what they have now. Because in the past, they sold naira to the dollar to them at 1,255, 1,255, and they were required to add just like 14 naira to it. That's like 1.5%. They were not expected to sell about 1.5%.
Right.
Now, in this case, the CBN has done what they wanted because they were selling at lower than even the rates that the CBN told them to sell. They have a stock of dollars that they were willing to sell because they also get dollars from other unverified sources and
right.
other. That's why they are different from to the banks. With the banks, you can at least check, you can verify from where this is coming and other. Well, with the BDCs, with the people on the streets, they really can't do that. So the rate that the CBN told them to sell, they were selling lower than it. That's why I see a lot of positive and strange things happening. we've never had a situation in which the parallel market was higher than the official market.
Yeah.
So the official AFEM or I and E window, the rate is higher than the so-called black market. It has never, in the past, the gap was like 200, more than 200 in some cases. Exchange rate, the official exchange rate will be 460 during the Emefiele years, and they will be selling at 760 in the parallel market, the black market, which encourage a lot of arbitrage and all the corrupt this thing. Now, they said they are going to try and bridge the gap and achieve some level of congruity. They've achieved that. So the kind of humongous gap between them that encourage round tripping is no longer there. Somebody actually said they are doing the same thing that Emefiele is doing. How do you say that? If you can see, if you can reason, how do you talk like that? It makes no sense. It's a different, that time was a fixed currency exchange rate regime. This time is a managed float, what you call the managed float. Somebody said they have abandoned floating. If they have abandoned floating, do we have an official rate now? I mean, the way people talk, because you've made up your mind to think in this manner. Go to Google and find out the meaning of managed float. Help yourself to some education. Managed float is what we are doing now, with minimal interference.
Right.
It's still the interplay of market forces that determines the exchange rate. And you will see that every given day the rate changes. But when we had a fixed exchange rate regime, the rate will not change. You know it's 460. So why are you saying they've stopped floating? I mean, let's stop this ignorance peddling. And we sit on social media and mislead people with pure ignorance peddling. Where we need to find that information, we won't. Somebody says, they are now defending the Naira. They are using our foreign reserve. How did you discover that? The foreign reserve is rising. If we are using it, we are defending our currency with the foreign reserve. How will the foreign reserve be rising? And they are announcing to us where we are at every given time. What has led to improved liquidity is, one, diaspora remittances have gone up.
Right.
In a season where people know that the Naira is weak, there's a tendency to send more money home.
True.
So that if you have a project in Ikorodu, you say, bro, me,
1.9.
So, yeah, Mabo. You give Olaya Igwe
Your dollar,
give him some money. You are going to help me.
Buy land.
Your dollar brings in more.
They are bringing in more
money.
More
dollars. Yeah.
So the swell of dollars keeps increasing. They also came up with a regulation that if I send you money in dollars, you can't go across the counter and receive dollars. So there are policies that they've introduced. We are selling Nigeria's treasury bills. We are selling treasury bills. The rate is attractive to foreigners. Yeah. They are buying treasury bills. That is helping our quantum of dollars to swell. People don't know these things and they will say they are using foreign exchange. If you don't have information, they are using foreign reserve. If you don't have information, ask. Even the Bible says, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek knowledge. Instead of sitting on social media and misleading people. They've discounted, announced floating. Where did you hear that from? That's peddling illiteracy. Because the floating regime is what we are doing. You can't wake up now tomorrow morning and say, you are sure the Naira will close in the foreign exchange market. The mainstream foreign exchange market also rate. No, nobody, not even the CBN governor can say that. It is based on the quantum of trading that they do.
Demand and supply.
That's what. So we have a situation in which we are not spending so much money to defend our currency. We don't need to do that.
Right.
The moment Cardoso succeeded in clearing the backlog to airlines, to banks, investor confidence improved. One second part of our discussion is how Forex inflows have gone up. It's gone up significantly, both from foreign sources and domestic sources.
Right.
No one can deny that.
Right.
And they are announcing it. They are saying, okay, inflows from local sources moved from February at 1.54 billion to 2.21 billion in March. That's significant. Inflows from foreign sources. In February, it was 11.10 billion. It was 1.10 billion. It moved to 1.54 billion. So you can see
the improvement.
Yes, the liquidity is improving.
Right.
The more the liquidity improves,
Right.
the more our currency
will get stabilized.
gets stronger.
Right.
And then we have not stabilized yet. I'm waiting for that time when we will really stabilize. We'll be like other countries like South Africa, where you can say, no, the exchange rate can never go above so.
Excellent.
That's what we want to see.
Absolutely. Let's hope for that moment to come. Well, that's where we have
that
to.
moment will come. We talked the way it's going.
Yeah.
If you sold to them at 1,101 and they are selling below the rate you gave them,
Right.
that means we are coming to 900 gradually.
But we have to go right now because I understand we have commercials to play because of time factor. Thank you so much, GKB. I know you have a lot to say. Thank you so much, GKB, as well, for your insights as well on the program. Well, that's where we have to wrap up today's episode of the program. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of it tonight at 11. Join us again on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30. Also, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Esther Makwariola. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.